Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the CHOFETZ CHAIM, speaking about someone who's telling over Lashon HaRa, and he has nemanis, he has believability, can betray like two people. Even there, the CHOFETZ CHAIM is cautioning you have to be so careful when exactly you'd be allowed to believe what he has to say. And the listener is also forbidden to view Shimon in a negative light because of Reuven's account. Remember, Reuven said over not good things about Shimon, and really Reuven is someone that could be Neman, could betray, could be believed like two people. Nevertheless, I, the one that is listening, I'm not allowed to view Shimon, who is being spoken about, in a negative light. Like I mentioned above, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM. Umilvad Isser HaKabbalah over alav the leaf neiver loisitin michshel. Besides transgressing the prohibition of accepting the words of Lashon HaRa, if he does listen, the listener is also transgressing the prohibition of lifnei iver loisitin michshel. In front of a blind person, you can't put a stumbling block. What's the stumbling block over here? Im kama asin v'lavin u'mavorin le'el b'psicha. So too, there's many other positive and negative commandments that we explained above in the introduction many months ago already. Kevan shamisaper bevadei oiver al isur lashon hara. Since that the speaker himself certainly is violating the prohibition of Lashon HaRa, kemavarim b'chol haposkim, like all the halachic authorities explain, the Lashon HaRa afil al emes. Lashon HaRa is even on something that is true. V'hu b'shmiyasa hivio li'isur. And by listening to the Lashon HaRa that Reuven is speaking, which is aser, so therefore, Reuven speaking Lashon HaRa has caused the person who is listening to be over on the prohibition of listening to Lashon HaRa. The ilu lo'haya roitzin lishma mita, because if he would have refused to listen to the Lashon HaRa from Reuven, la'ichaver bal lichlal iser, then his friend Reuven, that's what he's saying over here, that since that Reuven is speaking Lashon HaRa, even though that is true, it's still Lashon HaRa. If I wouldn't be sitting here listening to him speak Lashon HaRa, says the CHOFETZ CHAIM, then Reuven would never transgress the prohibition. But since that I'm listening, my listening itself is causing Reuven to be over to transgress the prohibition of Lashon HaRa. So I now become the listener, part and parcel, in this sin of Lashon HaRa. La'aya chaver ba lichlal iser. V'kol she's kabel yosel the fun of divrei hamisaper. And the more that the listener accepts the words of Reuven, which he was saying Lashon HaRa, v'yeh ahane ma'asav, so the more powerful Reuven's actions are, and that's a problem. So the listener, his transgression is much worse as well. Because through his listening, Reuven now is a worse speaker of Lashon HaRa. If Reuven's speaking Lashon HaRa to a wall or to a person who's not listening to him or doesn't really care what he has to say, so then it's a very minimal damage of Lashon HaRa that's being said. But if I, the listener, am listening intently and I'm makabel, I accept what he says is true, so then I'm giving fuel to the fires of Reuven's activities over here of speaking Lashon HaRa, and I'm accepting the Lashon HaRa, so I'm making everything into a terrible affair over here, that had I not listened, or if I would not have accepted it, there would be no real isser over your prohibition of Lashon HaRa being spoken or accepted. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.